Story 1. I just want to stop feeling so insecure all the time. If I could quiet the constant self-analysis, even just for a moment, I think I might finally be able to breathe and feel some peace. Story 2. I am tired of being the one who holds it together while quietly falling apart. No one ever asks if I am okay. They just expect me to be. Story 3. Sometimes I feel like I am always holding it together for everyone else, but no one really checks if I am okay. It gets heavy. Story 4. I am tired of being the strong one. I check in on everyone and make sure they are okay, while silently falling apart. I wish someone would notice that I am not okay, without me having to say it. Story 5. Something really embarrassing happened to me that no one probably remembers, but I never bring it up out of fear that they might. This was in middle school, so I'll remind you that my geography wasn't that great, although it hasn't improved much. We had a big project that counted for most of our grade, where we gave a 10-minute presentation on where our parents were from. The thing was, we had to memorize it with no flashcards. I studied hard, practiced multiple times, and was ready to ace the presentation. Everything went well, and surprisingly, I had no stage fright or any problems like that. I was super excited when it was finally over, but before I sat down, my teacher asked me, and everyone else after their presentation, to put a pin on the large map in the back indicating where we were from. This is the part that got me. I guess I was so focused on doing a good job on the presentation that I could not find the country. I made an absolute fool of myself trying to find a place to put my pin for a solid 3 minutes. I took so long that the next presenter started their slides. I finally panicked and decided to place my pin with the majority of the others and rushed back to my seat. I don't even think enough people were watching or cared that I was still up there trying to find my country of origin. But once I finally got up to return to my seat, I saw them all looking at me. Most embarrassing moment of my life that I'll never forget. Story 6. I am feeling extremely lonely, and it hurts. I often think about ending my life to escape the heart-wrenching pain that is becoming worse each day. Oh, and I cheated on my diet, I suppose. Story 7. I am 39 years old, and I still do not know what I want to be when I grow up. I am convinced I will be on my deathbed still deciding. Story 8. I am in a relationship with a woman I love, and we have a child together, but I am questioning if we are right for each other. She enjoys going to family events and spends whole weekends with family or catching up with her friends. I prefer being at home or doing things together as a couple. I don't want to spend every weekend with her family. I like her family, so there is no issue there. I just don't want to go all the time. I feel like I am letting her down, and maybe she needs someone more outgoing. I always feel awkward in group settings. I overanalyze every aspect of my role in the relationship, and I can't stop thinking about it. All I want to do is run away. I love her dearly, but don't want to disappoint her. Story 9. Whenever I do something that upsets my boyfriend, I make sure to never do it again. However, when he does something that upsets me, he just says sorry but repeats the behavior later. I love him dearly and don't want to leave him. We've been together for nearly 2 years now. However, I wish he would mean it when he apologizes. If he says he's sorry but does it again anyway, then it seems he is not truly sorry. Story 10. My cat went missing a few days ago, and she has been constantly on my mind. I feel so sad and full of guilt. Story 11. My manager really underappreciates more than half of the people who work at my job. She only appreciates those who flatter her, even though she has no idea what she is doing. I am also giving my 2 weeks notice today. Story 12. Now that I am over 30, I do not think I am as sharp for World of Warcraft anymore. I miss using substances. Cocaine and Vicodin are what I miss the most. Perhaps I was only good at games while under their influence. Story 13. I don't see a future where I'll actually be happy. Career-wise, I first wanted to be a doctor, but I am not good at physics. I have tried since the beginning of high school to excel in it, but it has not happened. At this point, further attempts are not worth the mental anguish. I will never be good at physics. My second option was to become a parasitologist. While I could technically pursue that as I am close to getting a microbiology degree, New Zealand doesn't have many parasites, so it is doubtful I will become one. Moreover, I lack the energy for the job hunting process. It is exhausting, dehumanizing, and frustrating. I feel as though I am lying, and I know you are too. Why are we playing this game? Job requirements often feel like a wish list rather than actual necessities. The fact that job interviews resemble a vibes test is absurd. Hiring should not depend on personal preferences. If you can only work with those you personally like, then you are not effective at teamwork. This leads to workplaces full of similar individuals. Diversity is essential. This type of interviewing discriminates against neurodivergent individuals and anyone who is not overly outgoing. The assumption that social skills require being outgoing and bubbly is misguided. You do not need to be extroverted to have social skills. Even if I did get a job, I would have little hope. I am tired of working in environments where higher-ups do not provide training or support and then blame me for not performing well when I request assistance. It is frustrating that workplaces discourage doing your job well. Hard work often goes unrewarded, and I want to work hard because I care about my work. I cannot do a half-hearted job at a slow pace when I know I can do better. Coworkers present another challenge. I never knew people could react so negatively just by minding my own business. I had a manager tell me on my first day that I needed to speak more to fit in. This was a cleaning job where I was often working alone. At another job, whenever I asked my coworkers questions, they ignored me as if I were a ghost. Communication is another issue. Many people are terrible at it. I am tired of receiving vague instructions, being yelled at for seeking clarification, and then being reprimanded for not completing the job correctly. My pet peeve is asking how to do something, only for them to do it for me instead of showing me. The inefficiency and "that's just how it is" attitude in workplaces is overwhelming. Frustrates me. Regarding personal relationships, I want more friends and to eventually get married and have kids. I currently have one friend and would like at least 3 more. My primary criterion for wanting to continue talking to someone is their interest in me. 9 out of 10 people I encounter seldom ask questions about me or reciprocate those I ask. They seem too self-absorbed to be interested in anyone else. Ironically, some approach me to strike up a conversation, only to talk at me rather than engage with me. I admit I am selective about those I allow into my life. I am a good friend and I refuse to let in people who do not treat me with decency. I cannot handle surface-level friendships. While some find them sufficient, they frustrate me. It feels like being ravenous with only lettuce available. Such friendships do not fulfill my emotional needs, nor do I enjoy being around those with whom I cannot be vulnerable. No matter what I do, I feel as though I will always be on the outside looking in. In terms of romance, I find it impossible to develop romantic feelings for anyone with whom I am not at least friends. Even beyond careers and relationships, I struggle to see things working out. For the longest time, I wanted to build my own house, but with the current economy, that seems unlikely. I doubt I will even be able to buy a house at this rate. I would love to have a dog or a pet rat, but very few rental properties allow pets, and even if they did, I wouldn't have the time or money for one. I wouldn't mind traveling either. I've heard about an interesting microbe museum in Amsterdam, but I can't afford that trip. I enjoy theater and have had a great time at every performance, but I cannot justify spending over $50 on something that lasts only 2 hours. Additionally, I am just tired in general. Living requires more energy than I have, and I cannot relax. If I do not do something, it does not get done, and my friend lives on the other side of the country, so they cannot help with much. Story 14. I blew it with the love of my life around 15 years ago. At that time, I didn't realize I needed therapy, and she did too. We were madly in love until we weren't. We were young and both of us could have benefited from counseling. Then it ended in a genuine destruction that could have been a major motion picture. My dad still tells me that I should write a screenplay about it. I'm still not sure how I feel about it, and it's over a decade later. I recently got sober, and now I'm having dreams about her again. I thought I was done, but apparently not. Story 15. I was sad when I was in school multiple times. My teacher knew what happened, but he did nothing. I can still feel the impact 12 years later. No one knows about it. Story 16. I love my boyfriend so much, but his depression is taking a toll on me. It hurts that he won't be completely present for big milestones in our lives. I can't imagine what he's going through, and I am always here for him. However, I am also hurting from constantly caring for a partner who is often down. I don't need advice. I am just venting. Story 17. I believe I deserve to be happy, but everything in my life has pointed to the contrary. My friends tell me I deserve happiness, but I cannot deny the evidence. It is hard to keep trying to be better when it feels like nothing I do is good enough. Story 18. I am tired of all the responsibilities of my family and doing the same job for 6 years. I want to leave this and go to a quiet place to live there forever. Story 19. Is it normal to feel disgust toward your own family? I've asked myself this question more times than I can count. It's hard to admit, but sometimes, especially when exhaustion sinks in, I look at my relatives and feel a deep, sticky resentment. Toward some more, toward others less. But it's there. In our house, being a woman means being a full-time servant. My family truly believes that all things domestic, cleaning, cooking, caring, are a woman's duty by default. My uncle and younger brother do the bare minimum, the occasional grocery run, taking out the trash. They don't clean, don't notice the mess, and honestly, they don't seem to care. They're too wrapped up in their own little worlds. My uncle, a grown man pushing 40, acts like a 5-year-old man-child. He works, sure, but comes home and snores the roof off. If he's not snoring, he's grinding his teeth like nails on a chalkboard. It's torture, night after night. And when I bring it up, my aunt and mom fall dead silent. They call it normal. They say, "You'll understand when you're older." They don't listen. When I say I don't want this life, that I want to move out and live my own way, they act like I've stabbed them in the heart. They believe I owe my family, that I'm supposed to care for my aunt, my uncle, and my brother, just because we share blood, that I should help them when they're old and gray. But deep down, I don't feel that pull. I don't want to. I don't feel that love. Yes, they clothed me, fed me, and got me haircuts. But kindness isn't a transaction. It doesn't erase who they really are. My uncle once took out a large loan in secret. He lied to our faces about it, said he'd been unfairly fired, but the truth is, he blew it all on snacks, clothes, and video games. While we struggled to stay afloat, he lived like a freeloader. It took us threatening to take away his precious laptop before he even thought about looking for a job. When we did, suddenly the game wasn't fun anymore. And my aunt, she's a different kind of poison. A gossip queen, a religious zealot, emotionally draining and manipulative to the core. She has thyroid issues, probably hypothyroidism, which might explain the foggy thinking, but even illness can't excuse her venom. She rarely leaves the house and is losing touch with reality. She and my uncle are both religious fanatics. They twist every conversation back to faith, and now they're pulling my brother down with them. He's convinced the earth was created in 7 days. He denies evolution. I'm agnostic, and it kills me to live in a home where blind belief beats reason. The only one I can truly tolerate is my mom. She's religious, yes, but she doesn't push it. She never forced me to believe. That matters. Still, they all say you have to love them, they raised you. Love my brother just because he's my only full-blood sibling. But sometimes I look at him and feel sick because of how he acts, how selfish and immature he is. Though, sometimes he's okay. Sometimes. But not everything can be said aloud. Some things sit heavy on my chest. About my mom. She's been through a lot. Her mother died when she was young. Her father, my grandfather, was violent. He beat his wife and kids. But with us, the grandkids, he was a different man. He spoiled us, adored us, carried us in his arms. He died not long after my dad did. 2 deaths in a row that shattered my mom. But she didn't fall apart. She didn't turn to alcohol. She didn't lose herself. She doesn't smoke, doesn't drink, and stuck to her word. She raised us with warmth and care. She never remarried, never even tried. After my grandmother's death, she and her siblings dropped out of school. My aunt became a waitress. I never heard much about what my uncle did. My mom stayed home, took care of everything like a second mother until she met my father. The more I learn about him, the harder it is not to feel revulsion. They say my brother takes after him. Personality-wise, childish, irresponsible. They had 3 miscarriages before I was born. Then, 2.5 years later, my brother. Sometimes, my father would take me to see his sisters without telling my mom. Once, when I was 3 and my brother was a newborn, he just disappeared with me. He turned off his phone. My mother was frantic. She spent the whole night alone with a baby, not knowing where I was. In the morning, my aunt came to comfort her. Later, I learned my dad used to drink. I fear he hit her. She denies it. But my aunt said she'll tell me the truth when I'm grown. That scares me. After his death, his sisters, snakes in human skin, stole our house. Their brother had just died, leaving behind a widow and 2 kids, and they kicked us out. Legally or not, they had no right, no heart, no shame. We had to move into my grandfather's house with my aunt and uncle. They helped with groceries and money, sure, but my aunt, she mentally and emotionally wrecked us, little by little, day by day. And now, the future, my heart feels heavy. I try not to show it. But once a year, when it all piles up, I cry quietly into my pillow. From stress, from fear, from pressure. The final year of school is killing me. University, the entrance exams, the scholarship. It's all too much. I want no need to get in. I want to escape. My mom and brother plan to move with me to the city where I'll study. We have 3 cats. I love them endlessly. I can't imagine life without them. But I'm terrified. Will we even find a rental that allows pets? Will we have to leave them behind with my aunt and uncle? The thought guts me. My dream is to move out from under my mom and brother's roof by my 2nd year, once I turn 18. Live alone. Breathe. I know I'll still have to send money back. Help out. Even if it turns my stomach. Even if they don't deserve it. I love my mother. I want to take care of her when she's old. My brother, I love him too. A little. Sometimes. Even when he acts like a selfish jerk. But my feelings for my aunt and uncle? A mess of rage, guilt, and something in between. And I know I'm no saint either. There were times I ignored my mom's pleas to help with household chores while she was at work. I brushed her off. Now she does it all herself and complains. Says she didn't give birth to us for this. Her words hurt. She forgets how, at 12, I was the one cleaning the house while she worked full-time. Now that my brother is over 12, he does nothing. And she excuses it. He's a boy. When I speak up, she lashes out. She yells. She breaks down. She doesn't hit, but the shouting still cuts deep. I get it, she's tired. But sometimes, it feels like she expects help only from me. Story 20. Yes, trusting them was my biggest regret. It taught me that love doesn't mean they deserve my secrets, my heart, or my trust. Did they break me or make me stronger? I'm still figuring that out. Story 21. This year hasn't been a great start for me at work. I truly love what I do, but with everything going on, it's hard to find something steady. I know once it starts, I'll be complaining about not having time off. I miss it. I miss everything about it. I'm tired of feeling unaccomplished. Thank you for coming. Story 22. I am 27 and will be 28 this year, but I still feel like I'm 16 mentally. I am the youngest of 4 siblings, and my parents still treat me like the baby. They never really made me take on any responsibilities, which has left me unable to start my adult life. I have been relegated to being the errand runner, driver, and babysitter for the family. I still live with my parents and do not have an official job due to being forced into taking my siblings to work and babysitting for the last 8 years. I do not have a car or even a phone number. I definitely do not have a girlfriend because of all the above. I feel like I have nothing to show for the 27 years I have been on this planet, other than perhaps being a good uncle. I am terrified that I have been permanently stunted emotionally and in terms of maturity, and that I will never be able to grow and live a normal adult life. I have always wanted kids, But now I am almost 30 and feel anxious that time is running out, and I might miss out on one of the greatest joys of life because my life has been put on hold to help everyone else. I have been secluded in my house and rarely go out anymore. I experience bad anxiety when I am around other people and overthink every small detail about going out. I get incredibly anxious just thinking about being in public. I could go on, but I feel like I am a collection of poor life choices, lack of growth, low determination and discipline, and depression. Story 23. I genuinely find myself unattractive despite many people saying otherwise. I apologize that my body dysmorphia prevents me from agreeing with you. Story 24. I have a huge crush on my best friend. I am truly in love with him. He is the most perfect person I know. We've been friends since childhood, and I want to spend the rest of my life with him, but he has no idea. Story 25. I left my hometown, and I absolutely hate it. Everyone tells you to experience other places, but so far, that's the worst advice I've ever received. I can't afford to move back right now. I just want to go home. Story 26. It's frustrating to know about the strained relationship between my sister and mother over something trivial that led my mother to manipulate my sister, resulting in my sister cutting contact with her. My mother has continued to bring up this matter for 3 months. My sister hasn't contacted us in over 3 months, and I'm tired of telling my mother that manipulation is never acceptable. Story 27. I worry that I am too needy. I want to be open and honest with my girlfriend about everything, and I am, but often I find myself concerned that she will get tired of all the small details and that it comes across as anxious and needy. Of course, discussing that also comes across as anxious and needy. I think it is due to a lack of reciprocal communication. Do not get me wrong, we communicate a lot. She says she worries about things and shares with me, but either she is much more well-adjusted than I am and her worrying is not as intense as mine, or she keeps it more to herself. Story 28. I quit my job over 18 months ago, and I have been struggling to find full-time employment since. This situation is keeping me awake at night and is slowly eating away at my life savings. My boss suspended me after his favorite employee filed a complaint against me. It was clear favoritism and abuse of authority. But what can you do? After 8 weeks of suspension with no news on when it would be lifted, I decided to quit. I wasn't very happy there anyway, and there was evident bullying going on. In the last 18 months, I've struggled with some freelance work. I moved to a new town to live with my fiancée, thinking there was nothing holding me back. However, since moving, I have had no luck freelancing. Interestingly, I heard from an old coworker that my former boss quit a year ago, and since then, I have reapplied for a job at one of the branches in my new town. I was hopeful as I have over 6 years of experience and know the company's inner workings. Human Resources informed me that because I left my previous job while under suspension and facing a disciplinary investigation, I am blacklisted from ever returning. I requested all documentation regarding the investigation and its outcome but received only a bunch of redacted documents with no way to clear my name, unless they had the unredacted files themselves. Essentially, I was told to leave and never come back. What was my dreadful crime? The incident in question arose when a couple of teenage boys came to the office door seeking shelter under the front awning during a heavy rainstorm. I let them inside, made them drinks, and allowed them to sit in the empty meeting room for 15 minutes until the weather cleared. During that time, I needed to excuse myself to answer a phone call, leaving the young men unsupervised. One of them got into the staff kitchen and stole my colleagues' breakfast bars. After they left, while cleaning up, I noticed the empty box of breakfast bars and disposed of it. The following day, my colleague inquired about the bars, and I told her the truth, assuring her I would replace them the next time I was in the office. A week later, I was suspended for gross misconduct and misuse of facilities. Tell me that is a crime worth firing someone over. I dare you. Story 29. I am exhausted from feeling alive. I feel ruined and believe I can never be fixed. Death seems to be the only release from this suffering. Cannot be forgiven or redeemed. I want a second chance or an ending. The first option is not possible, so I desperately pray for the latter. I am tired. Story 30. I'm overwhelmed with tasks. I can't stand myself like this. I need 3 days to do nothing so I can reset myself. Story 31. My housemates make me miss living with my parents until I visit them and am reminded why I moved out. At least I can express my opinion to my parents. I can tell my dad to turn the volume down when he watches videos on Facebook at full volume, but I can't tell my housemate not to talk on the phone on speaker at full volume. Story 32. I'm tired of feeling the pain of having to let someone go recently. I just want to fast forward to not thinking about them. Story 33. I moved to a new state, and it has been incredibly hard. I am concerned that I am using too much of my funds, and as much as I love it here, I feel like I may need to relocate within the next year to save as much as possible. Life is unpredictable right now, and I am feeling scared. Story 34. To be more courageous in expressing my thoughts. I feel I hold myself back too often due to my fear of others' responses. Story 35. I have had manic depression for 18 years, which has hindered my ability to maintain jobs, relationships, and support myself. Although I earned 2 college degrees that I am proud of, I feel lonely and exhausted. I often wake up feeling that my relationships are falling apart, and I am losing the energy to continue. I am also afraid of losing my parents, who are in their late 60s and late 70s and have always supported me. Story 36. I miss my parents. I moved to the other side of the world nearly 10 years ago, but as my parents age, it becomes harder to be away from them. I have built a good life in my new country and would never move back to my original home, but I find myself missing them more every day. We visited a year ago, but it is too expensive to go regularly. Story 37. My ex-boyfriend broke up with me again, and I can see and understand that I am the problem. Perhaps not to the full extent my negative, critical self believes, but he made it clear that my issues stem from my family. I love my family, but have always felt they would be a problem in my future relationships because they are quite dysfunctional. He pointed out their negativity and how it holds me back. I often let their words dictate my opinions, worry about what they think of me, and allow them to interfere in our relationship. Most importantly, I never stood up for myself or for him. They never liked my ex, but he is everything I am not, and I have always appreciated that about him. He stands up for himself and his beliefs, doesn't let others affect him, and remains focused on his goals, persevering even through tough times. I know the way he challenges my family and refuses to take their negativity really angers them. However, I genuinely feel like he's the one. We have talked about this and still love each other. We want a chance together, but we thrive more when we are away from my family, as I live with my mother. I know I need to change many aspects of myself and truly want to change. This desire is not just because he brought it to my attention. I have always felt this way, tired of the same old patterns with my family. I realize I need to create some distance and start setting boundaries. However, I am unsure of what I am doing with my life, and change makes me feel off balance. If anyone has gone through something similar, I would appreciate advice on how to improve myself and my situation. Story 38. I just want to know why I am scrolling through Reddit at 4:38 in the morning when I should have been asleep hours ago. This has been happening quite often lately. Story 39. I broke up a few days ago, and it hurts deeply. He is a really good man, and I regret not treating him better when we were together. Story 40. I miss my old best friend. I am sorry I cut you off, and I am sorry I blocked you. However, you were wrong to speak to me like that. After every time I had to swallow my pride and apologize when I wronged someone, especially you, I at least deserve an apology. It will hurt, but I refuse to let it go. Story 41. I don't know if I am cut out for all of this. I am scared all the time, so nervous, and so tired. I hate it. I just want to cry, but I can't. There are many problems in my family, and I really don't want to add more. I'm trying to move forward with my life, but it's hard. I am frustrated with myself. I know most of my family doesn't believe in me, and that tears me apart. It's discouraging, and I feel like I am falling behind. I know I am still young, but I really don't think I have it in me to live how I am supposed to. I am just tired. Story 42. I just want to relax and sleep without worry. I don't remember the last time I slept without getting drunk or high. I want to leave everything behind and take a break for just one day. Story 43. I'm feeling bored with life. I am not currently employed and spend my days browsing online or trying to fish, but I am not successful. Everything feels monotonous. I only know two people, my mom and my fishing buddy. My mom prefers to read books and drink tea. I am ashamed of having Asperger's syndrome, especially since a Swedish school shooter had it, and I fear that I will face bullying because of it. My mom might lose her job due to advancements in artificial intelligence, and I wish something significant would happen to me so that people would pay attention to me. Additionally, I am tired of having to check for items in my rats every day. Story 44. Parents' favoritism towards my sister made me despise them all. My family is better off. You can all stay in that small town 1,000 miles away for all I care. Story 45. It brings sadness to think of the condition of people. Everyone is hurt, angry, and holding on to trauma. Hurt people, and I was one of them. I wish I could hug each of you who are hurting from something that has happened. I pray that you heal and change your perspective to see the beauty in the world around you and especially within yourself. Story 46. I wish I could stop being a political pawn. I just want to exist as the girl I am. That's all. Instead, I have to deal with intense panic anytime there's an election, fearing that this is when I lose my rights. Story 47. I want to feel more confident in myself so that I can live the life I desire, including finding love, marriage, children, and pursuing a career in a field I am passionate about. However, after facing a disability, medical issues, recovering from an emotionally abusive relationship, and spending half my life caregiving for a parent, I have lost nearly all hope. Story 48. I am done being alone. I consider myself a nice person and think I am funny. I make people laugh easily. I take care of my hygiene and I am a good-looking guy. However, my first impression may not be positive because I appear serious and angry, but that is not who I am. The dating apps do not work for me since I don't have many pictures to share. I mostly try to talk to women online, but none of them seem to care about even texting back. I dislike being in this situation and have no idea how to resolve it. Story 49. I'm sad that I will never have the energy that I used to. I have an autoimmune disease, and I am always sore and tired. I feel very lonely because of it, even though I have friends and family. Story 50. I'm asexual and honestly, it feels like I'll never find anyone. I'm not completely unattractive, but I'm not a movie star either. Sex repulses me, and I wish I could find another asexual who shares similar interests. It feels like an almost impossible dream. Story 51. I don't like my life. My friends don't really like me. They don't ask how I'm doing or invite me when they want to do something with the group. I have no real friends who check in on me occasionally. The only real friend I had, I pushed away because of my insecurities, and now she won't talk to me anymore. I feel like a failure, and to be honest, I don't like myself. Story 52. I recently started talking to my dream girl from middle school and high school again. We always had a unique, flirty connection. We didn't communicate for nearly a decade. After all this time, we're both just mentally struggling young adults. I'm trying very hard to build a relationship, but honestly, we're probably not ready for anything like that. Although it's difficult for me, I keep my true feelings hidden and try to be a good friend, but she seems to be losing interest in that too. This has been very stressful for me, but I feel too weak to let her go again. Story 53. I left an abusive relationship 2 years ago. I felt like I was living a good life apart from that. We were together for 18 years. The relationship wasn't abusive the whole time, just post-COVID. I think of going back because things were functional, and we were essentially dual income, no kids. I feel like he was the only one who understood my needs and one of the very few with whom I'm compatible. He said I'm difficult to be with, and maybe he is right. 2 years later, I'm living a different life. I really wish I could return to that life again, but without the abuse. I know the abuse will still be there. Psychological, financial, emotional, and sometimes physical. Story 54. I'm terrified I might be pregnant. but I don't want to waste my emergency pregnancy test if I'm not. I'm on birth control, and my last period took 4 days of pill skipping instead of the usual 2. Then, a bit over a week into the next pill pack, I skipped 1 day and had light red blood by that afternoon, but only when I wiped. The next day, it became dry brown, but for the past 4 days, it's been switching back and forth even though I'm carefully taking the pill. I'm scared I'm spotting. I'm scared that is why my gas smells different, but not in a bad way. I'm scared that is why I've had a sudden but somewhat positive mood change, and my acne has cleared up. I'm scared that is why I've been struggling to sleep for more than an hour at a time. Story 55. After the last 10 years, and especially the last 6 months, it's clear that about a third of my fellow Americans would support the genocide of people like me. This is stressful. Story 56. Being an introvert for most of my life while trying to be an extrovert, I often find myself overthinking everything before I speak. I feel like I can't contribute much to a conversation. Story 57. I lost my dad last year and my mom the year before. Although everyone has been wonderfully supportive, I still haven't processed it. I also have serious medical issues of my own, including being a cancer survivor and living with Parkinson's disease. I wonder why they passed on while I haven't. All I have left are physical issues and grief. I hesitate to reach out to a counselor because I fear they will dismiss my feelings and tell me to move on. Story 58. I don't like where I ended up in life. I'm in my late 40s. Every plan fell apart during the COVID-19 pandemic, and I can't find a way to put it back together. It feels like bandages on top of bandages. I don't want to do what I'm doing with my life at the moment, but it involves caring for 2 people who deserve love from me. Yet, I feel sad, exhausted, lost, and have no other choices. My career was affected 4 years ago, and I can't get back into the field. Now I have jobs that are not fulfilling. There's probably another decade of this, and each day feels like a repetition of the past. Ageism is a real issue now, and 10 years from now it will likely be worse. I'm fairly poor, have low retirement savings, and will never retire. I can't share these feelings with people anymore because it just makes everyone else feel sad. Therapy with 3 different counselors didn't help. Medication works to a certain extent. I mostly hear, "It could be a lot worse, you shouldn't be so negative." But when I can see that the path I'm on is bad and can't find an exit ramp, I feel justified in my negativity. Story 59. Can absolutely no one, not friends, not family, not professionals, see how deep my depression is spiraling? I quit the drugs that were the main issue, the drugs that made me relax and stop overthinking, the drugs that allowed me to take a deep breath and not clench my whole body constantly. Now I smoke marijuana, use amphetamines, and drink only. They said I would feel better, but it gets worse and worse, and everything is caved in on me. I'm barely holding on. I don't even want to do this anymore. Every day is just a constant pain. Sure, I can laugh and have moments of not wanting to give up, but those moments come less and less. I see that you realize where I am, but you are afraid to ask because it might ruin your mood or your view on life. I feel like a burden to you all. Even the professionals get uncomfortable when I show my true self. I know that you love me and wish I didn't have to suffer, but I see it in your eyes that I make you uncomfortable with my thoughts. It feels like you are just waiting for me to pass away so you don't have to feel that discomfort around me. I put on a brave face, but the few things in life I found worth living for are long gone. Now I am just existing because of how I feel. I haven't showed a fraction of my true self, and it feels like you would rather me pass away so that your uncomfortable feelings would go away, and you could continue with your life. Story 60. I'm tired of being around people and have wanted to end my life for a while now. I've tried in the past and obviously have not succeeded, which has led to scrutiny like, if you really wanted to, then you would have succeeded. This makes me feel even worse, so 3 years ago I stopped talking to my therapist and family about my feelings altogether. I put on a happy face every day but take unnecessary risks, such as excessive drinking to fall asleep, walking alone at night in unsafe areas, and generally neglecting my health. This has caused my wife to become increasingly annoyed and has compounded my depression. I've lost interest in every aspect of my life, including work. I haven't expressed this openly since the first time, which led me to seek therapy and medication in the first place. By all outward appearances, I am a productive, happy member of society, but in truth, I'm only moments away from disaster and giving up entirely. I'm aware that the world will go on in my absence, and I thought it would feel better to get this off my chest, but that's not the case. Happy Easter if you celebrate. Story 61. I'm tired of people prying into my personal issues to satisfy their curiosity. I'm tired of being a source of their amusement. When I refuse to share or act distant, they become upset. You are not entitled to my personal matters. For me to reveal them, I need to trust you, and that takes time, which I know you are not willing to invest, and neither am I at this point in my life. So, the next time someone feels the urge to ask why I am the way I am, please go elsewhere. Story 62. I feel trapped in a conservative society and want to have my full independence by living somewhere else. I do not have the freedom to dress as I wish. Story 63. The people I live with, my husband and a friend, both have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. The house is in a fairly constant state of mess, and I am over it. Feels like I am picking up after children. Story 64. I just want to feel like myself again. I want to explore more about myself without feeling guilty about every small change I make. I want to be more than just this, but I'm scared and I don't know how. I'm an adult now, and I feel like I'm supposed to know what to do with my life already. But I don't. I'm just as clueless as I was years ago. Story 65. All my friends are seemingly moving forward in life while I feel like I am just coasting. I am terrified of being left behind, but I currently do not have the financial means to make a change. Story 66. I'm frustrated with my parents. They believe in some strange ideas. I love them deeply, but their negativity affects me. I don't want to cut them out of my life, but I also don't want to communicate with them. At least I'm over 100 miles away. But sometimes I really need my mom, not someone else's irrational behavior. Story 67. Honestly, I am so tired of myself. I am tired of being stuck in a loop where no matter how hard I try, I cannot escape. The hope from the highs is broken by the lows. I am currently waiting for the results of my psychoeducational assessment, which should be in about 2 weeks, and hopefully, I will know how to move forward. In the meantime, I am just frustrated and exhausted from these cycles. Story 68. A transgender man goes into a plastic surgeon's office to book an appointment for top surgery. He approaches the secretary and says, "There's something I'd like to get off my chest." Story 69. I took a chance on dating a Russian guy through Reddit, and despite my better judgment, I had lingering thoughts that he would never love me as I am. I felt pressure to lose weight for him, and he sexualized my workout routine, thinking about my body inappropriately. Both of my friends became extremely suspicious of him, and they were right. Isaiah was very angry with the guy for making comments about my body. The guy neglected me for 2 months during our 3-month relationship. During our breakup, he said he wasn't ready for a relationship. Then why did he date me for 3 months? In my grief, I made 3 posts about him and thankfully received support from other Reddit users. However, I felt undeserving of their kindness and became hostile in my replies, even after being called out for it. It has now been 4 months since I stopped seeing him, and it was definitely for the best. He never cared, he just thought I was an easy option. I am now engaged to my fiancé, and he is everything I could ask for in a partner. Story 70. I suffer from both social phobia and chronic loneliness. I want nothing more than a hug and a really close friend. But because of my social phobia, I think nobody likes me and nobody will ever be able to love me. It is so tiring. I just want love, and I need love to cure my chronic loneliness. But I will never be able to feel love or let anyone close to me because of my social phobia. Story 71. I'm feeling really low. I'm a 21-year-old man without a job and barely any income. I have maybe 1 or 2 friends, and I cope with ADHD and autism. Don't get me wrong. I have a loving family who takes good care of me and is always there when I need them. Still, I feel lonely and sad, and I struggle to care about myself. I sleep most of my days away to avoid existing. And when I'm awake, I spend my time engaging in unhealthy behaviors like smoking and drinking. I have a few hobbies that bring me some happiness, like airsoft and fishing, but I lack anything I feel truly passionate about. I don't have that excitement for tomorrow or for seeing someone special. The difficult part is that I know I don't have it worse than others. I know I have reasons to live, and I'm aware that many people would love to have my life. Yet, if I didn't wake up tomorrow, I honestly wouldn't care. Story 72. I had a friend, and one day I told him, "Hey, do you think life for us might be better if the Romanovs were taken out of power permanently?" How was I to know that Rasputin would go that far? Story 73. If I were in contact with a random person who treated me the same way my parents and sister have all my life, everyone would tell me to end the relationship because that constitutes verbal and emotional abuse. It is a toxic situation. They have serious anger issues and emotional dysregulation, and they minimize my experiences and feelings. Others would say, they don't care about you. They only care about how you make them feel about themselves. They just want you to help them, not to help you. But no one says this because they are my family. So, I had to cut off contact with them because they refused to seek help for any of the issues mentioned, and I'm the one that everyone thinks is strange. Story 74. I got broken up with because my ex's parents don't approve of the relationship. We agreed, for our own sake, to let this relationship go because there's nothing good that comes from abandoning family due to emotions. We still talk, but mostly about lighthearted topics and political discussions. Honestly, after that, I don't think I want another relationship. It was too perfect, and I feel like nothing could top that, or I would rather not know if anything is better. Story 75. I'm tired of hating myself. I can't find a job. I'm not exactly fit due to leg pains, and I've been alone for almost 3 years. Needless to say, I thought my life had hit rock bottom, but here I am, bringing a pickaxe. Story 76. I never stopped worrying about the future. I worry that I will be working until I am in my 70s to pay off my mortgage. I worry that I do not have enough in savings. I worry that I will never be able to retire. I worry that I will not be able to help my children financially if they need it. I just worry all the time. Story 77. Yesterday, my company laid off 84 individuals, about half of its total workforce. I was the only survivor from my team, and I can't shake the feeling that it wasn't due to my stellar work ethic. Everyone in my direct chain of command has also been laid off, and I am expected to start over from scratch, as all projects I was assigned to or managing are being terminated immediately. I don't know anyone who is left. Whoever made the decision to keep me probably doesn't know who I am. They only know my credentials, which I can confidently assume are the lowest of my teams. I have the least experience and only a Bachelor of Science degree against their nursing, Master of Public Health, and Master of Science degrees. Despite this, I had consistently been praised in private by my leads and manager for going above and beyond and contributing more and working harder than the others. I worry that they only kept me because they think I am inexpensive to employ, and the reality is I am coming up on my 2-year performance review, and there is nobody left to evaluate me who knows how much I've invested in this job. My research manager, coordinators, and leads have all been let go, so any hope I had of leveraging a strong review for either a promotion or at least wage adjustments has pretty much vanished. Considering the wave of sponsors ending their contracts and removing funding due to the current chaotic economic landscape, the chances of securing such a raise were already looking grim. This is essentially the end of my research career, I think. I am terrified to admit that I almost wish I had been part of the layoffs, so I could have had the peace of mind knowing I wasn't just kept on because I am considered inexpensive labor. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.